All right, here we are. What's today? I think today's the 8th. Yeah, Friday, November 8th, 2024. The Armada, how many miles are on her? She has 236,724 miles. All right, I really need to clean that truck. All right. The front differential left axle bearing, or the stub shaft bearing, is bad. It's worn again. This is going to be my second time replacing it. The first time I replaced it, I think I was well over 100,000 miles. The symptoms. Once the vehicle is warmed up, like once you've driven for a little bit, most of the time, if it's really worn, it's going to be in when it's cold. But when you take off from a stop, you'll hear like a clunk noise. When you're coming to a stop, just before the wheels fully stop rolling, you'll hear a clunk noise. When you're in a parking lot, making turns at like low speeds, you'll hear like a clunking noise as the wheel is turning. Once you straighten up, it'll either get less intense or go away. When you're at highway speeds, I would say like once you take off, you hear the noise, you hear it for a little bit, then it goes away once you get up to speed. Those symptoms are either your front propeller shaft, the front drive shaft, U-joint is worn. I had mine replaced when I first bought the truck. I bought the truck with the bad U-joint. That's another story. That's how I got such a good deal in this truck. And I actually had the dealership where I bought it. They actually replaced it for me for free. But it's good. I checked it. That's the first thing I checked. I was actually hoping that was the issue, but because that's faster to replace. But it wasn't. It's the front. If you go under the truck and you grab the left side stub shaft, don't try to move it forward and backward. Go up and down. And if you get a good amount of play, the bearing's bad. But I replaced it before. It was well over 100,000 miles. I can't remember exactly how much. I actually have a video of me replacing that bearing. I replaced it with a Nissan bearing, and the seal was a National Seals from O'Reilly seal. The seal isn't leaking, although the shaft has that much play in it. This time I'm using a bearing from Advanced Auto Parts. It's a national bearing, and that's the part number. B as in boy, 228. And let me show you what the bearing looks like. That's the bearing right there. This bearing has way more rollers in it than the Nissan part. The Nissan part doesn't have this many rollers. I would say the Nissan part has less than half this many rollers, and it has a spring steel piece that keeps the rollers in place. This is just packed with rollers. So I'm going to pack the bearing with gear oil. I was going to use grease, but I think grease will be too heavy, and I'll keep the gear oil that's supposed to lubricate it from getting in it. But when I replaced it with a Nissan part before, I installed it dry, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to pack it with axle lube. And this is the seal. Got this seal again, just like the one that's in there from O'Reilly Auto Parts. I don't know if one company bought it the next, or just O'Reilly stopped carrying national seals. But that's the part number. It's the same part number, 710919. It's the same part number as the one that's currently in there. And you see it says replaces the national seal 710919, same part number. Well, yeah, same part number, 710919. All right, so that's what you need. Let's see if I can hold them together. All right, so that is for the left side stub shaft bearing replacement. The bearing on the top, the seal on the bottom. The first thing we're going to remove is the strut assembly, the front strut assembly. I don't know if you can see, the vehicle is on a jack stand, and I got a floor jack under the front lower A-arm. So we're gonna remove the strut assembly. Then we're gonna remove the top ball joint where it connects to the top of the knuckle. And I think that, yeah, that's what I did, because I didn't remove this last time. Once I removed the strut assembly, I swung the CV half shaft out of the way, enough to give me room to get the stub shaft out. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, on the top of the strut, there are 3 nuts. You remove those. And then you have the nut and the bolt on the bottom right behind there. And then you just remove the whole assembly. Don't remove the 17mm nut on the top. If you remove that, as you lower it, the strut is going to try to come out of the, I forgot what you call the thing on the top, the bearing plate, the swivel plate. You don't want that. You want it to come out as an assembly. So just remove the 3 14mm nut, here. The 3 14mm nuts on the top. All right. So you remove the strut assembly, remove the upper ball joint nut so that it'll let loose from the top of the knuckle. Remove the sway bar link nut, and that'll disconnect it from the lower A-arm. That'll allow the lower A-arm to drop down, and you can pull the strut assembly out. Once you get that, make sure you disconnect the wheel speed sensor, and keep a jack under it, and take note of how much tension is on your brake line. All right, what I did, I didn't disconnect the big nut. That's still connected for the shaft in the knuckle. I didn't touch that. I removed the tie rod and joint, the nut. I removed it from the knuckle, and I turned the steering wheel all the way to the right, and that retracted the rack and pinion, the inner tie rod, and that allowed me, come on, boom, look at that, out of the way, so now I could get to it. So I don't have to touch the big nut. And the lower ball joint on the lower A-arm, you leave that alone. You don't have to take that off. That's the pain in the butt anyway. But anyway, in any event, I got full access to the stub shaft. To get the stub shaft out, you have to shock it. You don't just pull on it. The more you pull on it, the more it wants to stay in. You gotta like shock it, like a slide hammer. That's what you wanna do. So let me go, actually I got my slide hammer. Let me go ahead and see if I can, how did I do it last time? I'm trying to remember. Let me go ahead and get everything set up, then I'll start recording again. Let's see what we can do. Got it. All right. All right, all I did, I slid the ball joint separator tool between the back of the flange and the case of the front differential housing, and I grabbed the null end and I just used it for leverage, and I just pulled, and I just shocked it, and it just popped out. Again, you can't just pull it out, you gotta shock it. And there it is. You can see where the bearing is riding. Right there. I don't know if you can see where the bearing rides. And the bearing rides on the inner part, and the seal rides on the outer part. So let's, the seal. I'm gonna let it stay recording so you can see how I get the seal out. I need my mini crowbar. All right, this is what I used last time. The seal puller didn't work. It's in there. See, just like this. Boom. And it popped out. So all the people that were complaining last time, well, you didn't show us how you did this. You didn't show us how you did that. No, you see what I did. How easy that popped out. And there's that hex shape thing. Leave that alone. Don't mess with that. I thought you had to remove that. You don't. The seal still looks brand new. Still looks like they installed it. And removing it with the crowbar, there's no damage. Removing it with the seal puller, you're gonna tear it up. All right, so the seal is out. And now for the bearing, we use the slide hammer. Don't go in too deep because the thing that holds the bearing is plastic. So just try to grip just the inner edge of the bearing. Yeah, it's starting to come on the bottom. There it is, you bugger. See, once the bottom started to come out, there it is. And you can see which tool I used. I used the hook thing. And that's the bearing. Yeah, this is worn. Oh man, I could feel it. All right, now I want to show you the difference between the OEM bearing. This is from Nissan. I want to show you the difference. All right, let me grab the new one. The things I do for you guys. The least you could do is give me a like, share, subscribe, something. All right. This is the Nissan OEM part. You see how the rollers are spaced? And there's that spring steel in there. This is the aftermarket one. This is from National Bearing. See the difference? This is what came out. This is a worn one. This is what's going in. The seal is the exact seal. This is the seal that came out. This is the seal that's going in. Both of the seals are from O'Reilly. The bearing is from Advanced Auto Part. I mean, you could get the seal from Advanced also. They just got to order it in. Yeah, but all you need is a socket that's basically the same diameter of the bearing, and you don't want to go crazy when you're putting it in, because you're gonna you could compress the cage. All right, put some oil in there. Put some oil in there. The seal. Put some oil around the seal. And you can't put the seal in wrong. It only goes one way. I mean, I dare say, even if you tried, you couldn't get it to go the wrong way, because I know there's people out there that'll find a way. Boom. All right. It just stays there once you press it in place. Let's use say 32 millimeter. I got a 32 and I got a 29 millimeter oxygen sensor socket. All right, she's in there. Yep, nice and free. Oh my goodness. All right, seal. All right. There we go. Drive the seal until it's flush. Alright, that's in there. Alright, now the stub shaft. I already put some, let me clean that again. Let's put some oil on there. All right, put the cover back on. All right, the stub shaft. There we go. And what you do, you shock it. Same way you shock it to take it out, you shock it to put it back in. All right, I got my sledge and a big piece of pipe, because you want something that's going to transfer the force. You move the box. I'm going to need the jack stand. Carry some of that weight. There we go. All right, so sledgehammer, knock the doggone phone over. All right, there we go. There we go. In it goes. All right, and that's it. It's in. That's simple. That's the same way you do it on front wheel drive cars, all that stuff. You shock them. Oh, man. Yep, it's in. All right, now reverse all this stuff you did. Anyway, I don't think I need to record the whole thing. Again, you just put everything back together the way you took it apart. All right, everything is back together. So now, just gotta take it for a test drive. I think I'm gonna run back into town to pick up a new impact. Yeah, that one, the little valve, that little valve right there, it's all chewed up. But again, I got my money's worth out of that thing. All right, let's turn this off. There we go. Yep. It's fixed. Let's Yep, that's it. The noise is gone. That's it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna slow down. See, we would have heard the noise right there. We would have heard it then, and we would have been hearing it now. Yep, that's it, fixed. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop. You should hear the noise. If it was still doing it, nothing, silence. Then when you take off, you would hear it, nothing. Low speed, you would be hearing it all now, nothing. So it's fixed, good to go.